What's up, guys? This is Eric, and of course, as always, our boy Chris, and we're here to bring you Rarity Games podcast number 4. I know we're running super late. We've been getting busy. My boy got a new job over here, but it wasn't quite enough for him because he went and got himself another job working for Amazon, like a big baller now.
Gotta be a responsible adult, man. It's terrible.
Of course. But yeah, as always, we're just gonna break some stuff down, talk about this past few weeks' news, and since we haven't been around for a while, there's plenty to talk about. Figure we just kind of chill and give you guys the breakdown of what's been happening. What you been up to, Chris?
Well, as far as what I've been playing, I actually just got Octopath Traveler on the Switch. And I've really been enjoying that.
And dying for that game.
I played the demo when it first came out, and I absolutely loved the demo. It was just one of those things I had to wait until I had the time and the resources to pick it up, and I just did, and I'm so glad I did. I scooped it on sale, so it was like $45. Totally worth the purchase. I know they did release it on PC not too long ago, so I think that might be why the Switch version ended up being on sale, is because they were kind of, pumping the game. But it's fantastic. The original criticisms of people saying like a lot of the stories aren't as intertwined, I can completely understand where they're coming from, because the way the game is set with like the open world style of you can pick any character. So in the beginning, as you're kind of picking people up, they don't really interact with too many other like characters along the way. But once you start to get a full party going, you're at a certain point in the game. I think that's when they start dropping the breadcrumbs and have the little extras like, oh, the hunter character referencing hunting some animal that showed up in like the night story, or like something along those lines, which something that were more prevalent in the old school Final Fantasy games that you used to see back then.
It's definitely very, very reminiscent.
And
of
a lot of people are
style.
purposefully going to for that turn-based like itch to scratch. But I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it if you haven't played it. Download the demo, go for it. What about you? What have you been playing?
You already know, nothing but Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I finally got the game because I wasn't too particular about the Assassin's Creed games anymore ever since Unity and up. I kind of felt I loved the original like 5 to 6 games. They were great, and then I felt like they had too many teams working on those games, and you didn't know if you were going to get a good one, a bad one, or one in between.
And you played pretty much all the games from Assassin's Creed, whereas
yes.
Whereas myself, I really like kind of jumped around, kind of piecemeal. Like I played the original, I played 2, I started to play Brotherhood. Yeah. I own Revelations and just never got to it. It's a great series, but I was all over the place. Like I played a little bit of 4 without playing like 3, and then I got like Syndicate, which was fine, but I never really got into that. It never really sucked me in. But I played Odyssey, and Odyssey is by far the most complete, story-driven.
I was gonna say,
it ties that world, that like Greek series of islands and mainland, and the stories together in a way that I don't think they've ever done in any Assassin's Creed game.
To put it simply, like I said, like ever since PS4, this generation of consoles, in general, Xbox One and all that, the Unity game started it, and I was like, okay, cool, France, this is a great game. It feels great. Oh, well, God, it's so messy. It was horrible.
It felt great once they fixed it.
No, it looked like, it seemed like a great concept is more of what I should have said.
Oh, yeah,
to describe it better, like, I was like, oh, a co-op Assassin's Creed game is going to be great, and it completely put a bad taste in my mouth for that, and at the time, or shortly after, we started getting way better games that were very reminiscent of Assassin's Creed, whether it be Horizon or God of War, like that style of action RPG, The Witcher 3, like
that's
those
exactly
kind
right.
of games that are like unbelievable and feel like Assassin's Creed was like when we first got Assassin's Creed games, it was like, oh my God, like, what is this? Like, what is this game? I'm able to just wander around an open world and kill everyone in it and just have fun. Like, and this brings back that feeling in a whole different way. Like, I went through Origins, it felt good, but that big, like, the concept of the game was great, but that big, open, sandy, like, it just felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again. Like, after the first, like, 10 to 20 hours, I'd say, I played of it, I was like, oh, I'm back at the pyramids again. I already explored all these pyramids. I know there was a lot more to the map. So, I didn't feel that vibe. This game, as soon as I walk up to the next area, I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what's here. I can't wait to going on here. Like, oh my god, another statue. Oh, giant mountains, bears, tigers, this, that. Like, the boat ride and the water looks amazing. And, like, everything and the story in itself is incredible.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Going.
I watched you play a couple hours of Origins, the Egyptian one, and it gave me that same kind of feeling that the Mad Max game gave me. Like, it was supposed to be a desolate open world, but it was too desolate an open world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there was huge
enjoyable.
swashes of land you'd have to cross with not much in between. Odyssey, you're rolling through, and you're always coming across some weird little cult, some kind of animal, some kind of thing. And like you said, The Witcher, it felt like that game was very heavily inspired by The Witcher. Yeah. And you look at the map and the way you can play it as a guided, where you have like kind of bullet points on your map to hit, but you still discover things along the way. Or you could just go straight exploration.
Which is what I decided to do, and that's really cool, because it's not. I would say Breath of the Wild, but it's more the parts of Breath of the Wild of, like, finding the armors or finding this, where you don't, not necessarily the quests, because quests are pretty straightforward for the most part in Breath of the Wild.
Well, and
it's different with even the quests in Odyssey. You look and you're like, okay, I have to look at the map. If you talk to the people that are related to the quest, they give you 1 or 2 or 3 different bullet points, and you go, okay, west side of this town. It's in this main area, and it's close to this building. But you don't know where any of that is either. So you have to find that main area, then you can start narrowing it down and finding the quest spot. And it's great.
And I started in exploration mode that way too, on the initial starting island, the initial, I guess 5 to 10 hours, like, depending how you played it. I don't think
so.
It's not even that. I really loved it, but having come off Breath of the Wild a couple months before, I instantly was like, I don't have time for another 200-hour RPG. I just don't. I love the game, don't have time for it.
I feel the same way.
I put it in guided mode. I'm 65 hours in. I got distracted and took a break and started playing other stuff for a little while. And then when he started up again, I came over one day and saw him playing. I kind of got that itch. And I went back and I just put in about another 10 hours or so. And I'm glad
I bought it and got you back in. That's awesome.
Picked up right where I left off. There was hardly any learning curve to figure out what I was doing or what was going on. It took me maybe a good 30, 40 minutes to get the muscle memory back for the controls. Yeah. But the control scheme for that game is so customizable. Like, your controls were so different than my controls, but you can just make anything. So for example, I'm more of an endgame point, and you end up using the shield stab, rip-off kind of block stun maneuver constantly. So initially, I had it on B for Xbox or circle for PlayStation. Yes. But then as I was using it more, I decided to move it over to X/square, and it just felt more natural. And the game lets you organically just put a power or an ability in a slot that feels more natural, and as you use it more and it becomes more of something you want to rely on for a particular boss set, you can just slot it over there and drop it where you want
and switch it. You mid-fight, you can switch your abilities, and that's incredible to me. And like you were saying, it's funny because in RPGs, like action-esque RPGs, starting with something like the Kingdom Hearts is what this very much reminds me of, the style of the UI, because you hold L1, which is exactly the shortcut button in Kingdom Hearts, and then you have your 4 button presses to choose from. And like you said, you want to feel the more natural spot. So what I do is what's attack usually? It's square. And then a secondary attack usually would be circle, or triangle, I mean. But for everything I've ever played RPG-wise, I always put cure in triangle for some reason, because it's the farthest button away. X, square, and circle are the attack-based or support-based abilities that I can get to quickly. Yeah. And it just always felt right. So cure had to go to triangle, and then circle is the support, and then X and square are my main attacks. So it's really comfortable.
And what I did X, aka Square, as my heel because that's what it is in Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever game felt right to you that you did constantly, it's like, okay, I need that there because I know in the back of my head, muscle memory will make me press that.
I think this is another quality example of Ubisoft learning from previous mistakes, stepping up their game, and just really improving a product that was already good and just shining it to make it even better.
Well, and I have to give it to not just Ubisoft, really the dev team that did it. And I'm not, I should look up exactly what.
Well, there's two main teams that do the Assassin's Creed. They have like a rotation.
Yeah, it's probably Montreal that did this one. I'm not quite sure. But
well, what's the French one? I think the French one does the other one. I can't recall.
Yeah,
like Lyon or something like that. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I'd give them credit. Is what I'm saying is they went and did the research and figured out what people liked, and they took what they learned from watching Origins the past year, and they said, okay, people loved this but hated this, and then we have a way better setting and a way better story, so let's make it more intuitive. Let's make them be able to feel like it's their story, and then give them a great area to be in, and give the gameplay some polish. Like, don't leave it be just an Assassin's Creed game. Give it more. Like,
it speaks to their community kind of aspect on things, the way they view the stuff, because they have reached out, or they're constantly reaching out on Reddit, on Twitter, on the Uplay app. You know how they give you the points with the cool little weird DLC rewards?
Yeah.
A lot of those surveys and feedback, I'll get like a random email every once in a while being like, hey, we'd really like to know your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's something super specific like the ship combat, or sometimes it's just generic questions about the style of games you play.
Ubisoft's great with that because they have the alphas, the betas that you can sign up through Uplay and have all your shit linked together and be able to go on forums. They're great. And to bring it back to the developers, and this is why this game is so incredible. Standard, straight up Ubisoft helped develop with Quebec, Montreal, and Singapore.
Oh, wow.
All the main development companies, even the ones that worked on Origins, came over and were working on Odyssey. So it seems like they planned, like, Origin. They did this before with whatchamacallit, The Division. So The Division came out, and then you had Wildlands very shortly after, and it's the same concept of a game with a different feel of it. Then The Division 2 comes out, and you could see very blatantly that they used The Division and Wildlands to test two different awesome mechanics, and then they smash them together, and they give you The Division 2, and then we're getting Breakpoint, the next Ghost Recon, and I know that's gonna feel very much like a combination of those games, but with their own life. And you can see what Assassin's Creed did, and they give you a game, and it's almost like a beta. Like the game itself is almost a beta to the successor, and it's like they take that testing because of the engine they use, and they're able to, give you the next level of that game that they want, the real experience.
And I think that's something that a lot of other publishers and big dev studios can learn from. Because if Bethesda employs that kind of mindset and model, it could really help them out. Because they have enough. They have enough studios now. They have enough studios now where they could pool their resources well enough, rather than just spin it off, and then you start to run into the EA BioWare situation where this BioWare did it. It's not the good BioWare. It's not this studio. And it's like, no, you're a team. You're pooling the talent. And
I'll give it.
That
I'll
affects
give
the
it
game.
to EA though. They're bringing it back, and they're saying stuff like they're grabbing onto one of their good developers and they're giving them the resources. Like they've said, BioWare can go over to Respawn if the Respawn needs the help, because they got Apex going consistently, and they got Star Wars coming, and they have Titanfall in the bank. But going back to Ubisoft, it's a very similar thing. They're like all these teams. Not a lot of people really look at the developer of Ubisoft because it's just what city Ubisoft. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like a lot of people don't really mention.
Well, there's San Francisco. They're all over the place.
They've been working on all these different games, but with the same engine that keeps getting upgraded, and it's great. Like you see the results of that. And I watched I don't know if you checked this out. The DICE summit. They were doing the keynote. Ubisoft did a keynote, and they're talking about their AI, and it's very similar to how they've been, like, you could tell that they've been just hammering the same concepts, but upgrade it and better and feeling better and looking better. And like as they kept hammering these things out, they've been teaching an AI how to do half this work
like
on
machine
its own,
learning,
so they can start to focus on the more detailed and story-driven and gameplay-driven concepts and let the world be built with AI.
Well, and not only that, but if you take a look, to kind of take a step back and take an even bigger look in terms of like a publisher, in terms of like how big they are, they just launched their own streaming service in partnering with Stadia, and Stadia was their test bed. They had Assassin's Creed Odyssey running as a test bed before we even knew what the Google streaming project name was.
Yeah, Ubisoft is low, and they got that hostile takeover taken care of. Ubisoft is low key.
Yeah, they were fighting.
Gonna be Vivendi, right?
Yeah, they were fighting Vivendi, and they successfully fought them off. So
you see Ubisoft making these big moves, and they're gonna end up becoming one of the best developers, like, and production company out there.
So right now, I feel about Ubisoft the way I felt about Bethesda 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Where like they almost everything they touched was a certain type of product, but it was a certain level of quality you expected out of that game, and even if it didn't necessarily grab you, you were like, oh, that was still a good game.
Yeah, it seems like they finally hit those like key points that they've been wanting to. It's like you see how they did the Rainbow Six run for years, and like they put it to test over and over again, and then they tested all their third person games, and they all kind of gave that lifeblood, and then watched Overwatch and put that kind of concept in it, and like there's so many different like ways that Ubisoft like tests repetitively until they get the thing that they know is perfect, and they put everything into it.
They made a big deal several years ago, like maybe around the 2000s, where they got the rights for the Tom Clancy. That's why Tom Clancy's name is on Wildlands and the Set the Third. You can make those games without Tom Clancy's name, but that carries like a certain level of like 50-year-old dad book guy. That,
the story concept kind of comes from his books anyway, so it's really good. His ideas.
They get that pedigree of the original Rainbow Six, like one of the first big like team-based PC shooters. So
you really see like that company like Ingenuity though, and the help and the developers, like they want to make sure their developers have everything they need, and they're giving them more and more each time, and it's great to see them finally on. It seems like their final products really after doing so many second drafts over and over again, they finally got that good piece where it's Odyssey, Division 2, Siege,
and in comparison,
it looks great.
In comparison, somebody like EA, who keeps releasing these remasters and then releasing unfinished games, and you can see like the fan backlash they're getting from these things, or they're putting out these franchises and it's just not what people want. Like Anthem, for example, promised a whole heck of a lot of stuff, and if you listen to a lot of the early stuff, what they promised sounds really intriguing and a game that I wouldn't mind playing, but that expectation they set on like an E3 stage or a demo stage versus what people actually played, with server crashes and hard crashing PS4s, like
very true.
It's a very big difference from what you were promised to what you get, and Ubisoft doesn't do that.
Not anymore. I was gonna say though that it feels like a lot of these companies see what someone like Ubisoft is doing, and they want to give that trial and error start. You know what I mean? They're finally breaking down and finding the right developing companies, and they're trying to get that like trial and error done and over with, and you get bad eggs sometimes that come out of that, and then they're gonna hopefully will learn from their mistakes and then make the perfect game. And like you were saying, like it would really help Bethesda if and now that they have all these other studios coming around, and you see, like I said, with Ubisoft, like you see what they're doing. They give the load to one team and another team, and they spread it, and they able to, like I said, learn from each other and do all this stuff, and they can, when they finally have a good game and a good concept, they throw all the other development teams on it too, and make it perfect. And those are the things that Bethesda can learn from, and EA, and I think they're trying to get on that now.
Well, and going back to Bethesda for just a second, Bethesda has id and Doom and Wolfenstein, so they have proven AAA amazing shooters, yet in half their games the physics and the shooting is so inaccurate and so sloppy. Like I really like some of the Fallout games, but the shooting in most of those games is pretty rough. Now granted, it has progressed over time, but
it's very
shooting was better. The shooting was better in Fallout 4 than it was in Fallout 76.
Yeah.
So I understand they had to modify the engine heavily to make a single player engine into a multiplayer engine, which I'm not even going to get off on a tangent about that.
I know.
But, like, for them to have a side of their company that they own and work with having such a high quality shooter engine versus not, like, it almost seems nonsensical to me.
Yeah, it does seem a little weird, and even if it's just to learn something, and I understand that, like, we're maybe not deeply into the forte of what engines do and why they're choosing to do it, but, like, it would be nice to see some of that, like, detailing come over from studios like that into the other games that we love.
It feels like there could just be a little bit more collaboration there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But and I can understand if there's some reasons why, like, it's a team would be like, I don't know if I really want to have people come over here and tell me how to do this or how to do that. If we change it too much, then some people might hate it, and, like, they don't want Fallout to feel different, and you know how all that goes.
Yeah, and I totally respect that, but in the same token, I think they're seeing a lot of criticism in ways that they weren't even 5 or 6 years ago, because they keep rehashing some of these products, these tropes over and over again. And, you know, you want to change things, but in the same token, you don't want to change it too much, just like that.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I almost lost the mic there, but I need to get it so it's not... Yep, much better. So I got it.
Not to go any more into publishers and developers, some of the other big news this week is... Ninja, the huge Fortnite streamer, one of the most popular guys in the game out there.
Right into it. Nice segue there. No, it was there's been a lot going on with that, and it's weird. Did you see all the news about the Twitch promoting thing?
Yeah. Let's go in order.
Yeah. I know. I just had to mention it.
So the big news is that Ninja has left Twitch. He has ended his partnership with them and is no longer going to stream on that service. He's gone to Microsoft's service exclusively, Mixer, and is only going to be streaming on Mixer. To celebrate this, Microsoft was giving away free subscriptions to Ninja on Mixer. I got one too. Because why not? And I had used Mixer previously for odds and ends, little stuff. It's good to check out some, like, nice little indie games. Like, I occasionally watch Into the Breach there, because that's not a game that you stream often for a lot of people.
Yeah. I do love, real quick, that they didn't make us put a card in or anything, though. Yes. They're like, get a subscription, it's all good, we don't need your money, we're not going to renew it automatically.
Microsoft is still promoting the service and the account. It was only like a year ago that service was called Beam, and it was the goofiest name, but it had some of the sharpest picture quality and lowest latency.
They're rebranding for once. Microsoft rebrands stuff all the time. For once, this rebranding did well, and I'm so glad they did it. And I mean, I said to you, like, we're thinking about hopping on that too, because, like, Twitch is a great place and all, but it's kind of hard to get noticed on a place like Twitch when there's so much going on. It'd be great to have a new platform to check out.
Twitch has started to become a little bit more ad based than some of the other services, and Mixer, although the audience usually isn't as huge, you have a lot more higher engagement. If you guys want to chat something to us in the middle of the conversation, it's a lot easier for us to see and interact with that on the fly than have some of the delays with Twitch, or honestly just some of the resources on some of the machines we're recording with here. Twitch does take a little bit more resources.
Yeah, very true. And being able to just sign in with your Microsoft account is awesome. How many people already have a Microsoft account, already have an email address linked to that, already have everything set up?
And I think that's the plan, is they're trying to get people back in. Like, go ahead, sign into that old 360 account
Twitch
you have.
Twitch is such a pain to deal with. Like, the way I had to set it up, the way I have to share things through it, and the way, like, their interface is not that great. Whereas as soon as I touched Mixer, I was like, oh wow, I know how to do all this, and I know where everything is immediately.
And the thing about working with a platform like Twitch or Mixer, Twitch is so popular now that to get to a point where you really start to have the opportunity to make it financially worth it for yourself, to put in like 6 hours or 7 hours here and there, like you have to have a solid big audience for Twitch to even consider you. Whereas Mixer is a lot more, hey, you've got a couple hundred loyal people, we totally carved out this little corner of the internet for you.
I saw, like I said, people. The first thing when you scroll down, obviously, is Ninja just joined Mixer, but then this right under that is a list of people that are up and coming streamers with people with only 5 viewers, 10 viewers. Like, that's amazing to have that right at the top of your page.
They have that own version of the hot zone where they call it the mix pot, where you just go to that channel and whatever type of game is in that subcategory, you can just watch whatever the top like 3 or 5 people finishing a battle royale are. So like
that's cool.
They do little like edit things like that where there's somebody at a control board on the fly being like, oh, top 5, okay, we finished that game, this game next top 5.
That's
and
awesome.
It's a great way for people also to get discovered, because you might only be streaming for 10 or 20 people, and then all of a sudden if you're in the top 5 and you get hit by the mix pot in Apex or in Fortnite or whatever, you get a couple thousand people dumped on your channel
real
for a
quick,
little while.
and you know, you might only get 10 or 12 followers, but that'd be great to just have a group hop in.
Or if you have a nasty win, you might get 100.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people will then
Just
use
click
that
it for
as
the
a
hell
way,
of it.
like channel surfing, and they'll stick with somebody once they
Wow.
find them that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things Microsoft has really like touting, is that, hey, we are a smaller community, but like you can find people and things easier. Like I was saying earlier, I like to watch Into the Breach on there. They have Breath of the Wild streams. I feel they're just a little bit more open than Twitch. I've used Twitch for a while. I like Twitch, but I think it's healthy that they have competition.
Yeah, very much so. And I was thinking about this with YouTube too. It's like there ain't really anyone competing with YouTube, and there's not gonna be for a while.
And that's the funny thing that you bring up YouTube, because YouTube tried to do this with YouTube Gaming, you remember. But the problem was it was a separate app altogether. It wasn't built into the YouTube app, and it splintered the base, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, but it's basically built in anyway.
Exactly.
Like why would I leave the app to go watch something that's on the other app that I'm already on?
Exactly.
Well, whatever.
It seemed weird. I didn't get it, but whatever.
Too much of a tangent of the Ninja thing, but getting back to that. So Twitch, after leaving Twitch, everything seemed nice and cordial. They did like a statement, and they're like, like we're glad that Ninja's going on to new ventures, and we wish him the best of luck.
It was very
great working
business.
with him. Yeah, of course. And then Mixer, of course, is we're so happy to welcome Ninja, and everything seemed very at the norm. And
he started streaming at Lollapalooza. That was his first
that was
stream.
really cool.
That was.
And then he a couple days later, he's looking at probably getting people hitting him up saying, "Yo, go check out your Twitch account." Okay, what's up with that? Go check out his Twitch. Oh, the ninja you're looking for is in another castle. And that's what it's at the top of his page, and then a list of other streamers.
So Twitch had just enabled a beta feature and was using his old page.
A beta feature that only is on Ninja's page and no one else's.
That's what they said after the fact. So anyway,
they have other people that left Twitch for Mixer, and none of their pages were like that.
Well, none of those people probably had a couple million followers.
Still.
So, they were, I believe it was Inside Gaming I was listening to, and they said Ninja was roughly like 18% or 17% of Twitch's like user base in one person, which is kind of crazy when you think about like the popularity of that platform. So I'm not surprised that the executive somewhere went, "Oh snap, we're about to lose a bunch of people." Even if half of them go to another streamer on their platform and don't leave the platform together.
You say 17%, I get it. You're probably right. But the other part of it is that those people are, there's other people that were way ahead of him on the top list. Like there's a consistent amount of way higher people. So I get that, but at the same time it's like people think Ninja's still the number one streamer. They don't really watch streaming.
Sure.
And if you look at that, it's not really the case.
That's
like
because
Shroud and Tim the Tatman, even Ninja's friend, has more followers and subscribers than he does.
So for a while, Ninja was totally like the Twitch brand representative to people that don't know streaming and tech and all that. He was on Fallon. He was on Kimmel.
No. There's more exposure.
Exactly. Yes. He has a presence out there in a way that a lot of non-tech and non-gaming people go, "Oh, Ninja, okay, I know."
Because everyone else
with the hair
is in the gaming world. They do a lot of stuff in the gaming, whether it be E3, PAX, whatever. They're there and they're doing stuff, but they're not on TV or on ESPN or this or that. But that's becoming more the norm. After Ninja's done this, you're getting interviews from ESPN on other gamers. You're getting people like the dude Booga winning $3 million at the Fortnite World Cup.
And that little dude just got swatted, unfortunately.
Oh, my God.
Don't swat
anybody. Of course he did. Why? Yeah, let's swat the kid that just won the cup. That's great.
Well, it ended up having a happy ending because when they showed up to his house, one of the cops responding was his neighbor, so he already knew the family, knew what was going on, and like...
That's great. So he was like, "Yo, chill. It's all good."
Well, he was in the middle of a tourney for trios, and he lost the match he was in when that went down, but he ended up winning the other two. Like, his boys carried him through that, like, bad match.
Cool.
So he ended up still coming back and winning. So good for him. But, like, come on, guys. Like, that's no joke.
No. So, yeah. Ninja had, well, porn on his channel.
Yep.
In a way, yeah. Someone was streaming porn, and when this whole promotion thing, this beta was running on his page. It ended up working its way
into some magical algorithm on the back end, and during a bunch of other channels that it was recommending.
Fortnite. It was like Fortnite, Battle Royale, and then it was a bitch getting railed on the Twitch stream channel.
I think it might have been one or two Apex in there too, but yeah, it was still it was nuts.
16 million people I think he has following him, and so how many of them are kids? 10 million.
Well,
come on.
And therein lies the issue: is that used to be a safe channel. He didn't really curse. He didn't really. No,
I mean in the beginning he was a little reckless, but
sure.
The ninja, yes. Like, people that know, yeah, it's like crazy. That's nonsense, Twitch.
That's literally to the same level of, like, you know, a TV provider messing up and accidentally showing like, nakedness or whatever. Like, it's a big deal for a lot of people that don't really interact with it, but in the same token, like you said, there's a lot of kids out there, man. That's kind of messed up.
And it was bad enough that you were just like, oh, we're going to try this new beta feature on his channel. Let's check this out. Let's throw up an ads for other streamers so that the people that are about to leave our channel and go to Mixer, they're going to stay on our channel. I get it. It's a business tactic. I completely feel them on that. But then the other side of it is, like, you're doing that to only him. At least when you launch this, like, launch it world. If you want to do it, and I know it's for Ninja, but do it and launch it on a bunch of people's platforms and make it seem somewhat legit at least, so you don't look like an idiot. A, and then B, you know he's going to say something or someone's going to say something about it. And he was like, all right, whatever, it's cool. Ninja was really cordial about it, honestly, and he apologized for having this happen with the whole porn thing. And it's like...
Well, and that's the thing. That's what I feel he got more mad about, is they're, like, trading on his name. They're using his name to pimp this weird thing that ended up accidentally having porn in it. So it's like... insult on top of injury. It's like, come on, guys. Like, this is why we're not together anymore. Bitches are crazy.
And he's like, I bet you, he was like, oh, thank God I just left. Like, as soon as he saw that, he was probably like, oh, man, I made the right move.
The crazy
and they
thing
treated him well, dude. They really did.
They
like,
totally
once
did.
he became, like, noticed and all that, like, they were giving him the New Year's Eve thing. Like, they got him a big, like, suite or something in a big studio and a high-rise.
And that's what I was saying. Like, he was their face for a long time.
Oh, yeah. So I feel that they're salty and they want to kind of try to, you know, capitalize in any way they can, but still.
In my head, it's no different than, like, a football player or a baseball player being traded to another team. Like, you guys got stolen away and you now work for another team.
But the team still wants to be like, we're the team that had this guy. You know what I mean?
You
so we know we're still good.
Yeah.
So I get it. I'm cool. I get that Twitch had to make some kind of move, but, like, it was a little drawn as it was, and then they mess up even more.
It was a little slimier than you would expect of Twitch.
Yeah, and that fast. Within days, you're like,
I'm not surprised that it was within days, because the way
that's when people are clicking his channel.
Well, not only that, but the way contracts work, they probably had a heads up on this for like a couple weeks or a month, so they probably were like slapping something together on the back end to try and like bandage the wound of whatever's going to happen when he leaves.
Of course.
So.
It was just a little shady. But so far, Ninja seems to be loving Mixer so much. And like we were just talking about, we were just complimenting Mixer on their quality. He did the same. Him going there made me realize how much better of a platform than it was. And because I'm not a huge Twitch person as is, so I'm not a huge streaming person. I like to hop in on there sometimes. And, you know, now that I got Amazon Prime, I like to pop a sub to a person here or there just to help support them.
Which you have to keep doing regularly because they won't let it auto-renew.
I'm cool with that, too, though. I would rather have it not auto-renew so I can make sure.
So am I, but it's one of those things, it's kind of annoying because on certain platforms you can renew. Like, you can't renew on mobile. You have to do it on PC. You can't do it on, like, your Xbox. You got to do it on it's like, all right, guys.
I know. But it was nice to see someone big going over there and getting Mixer some notoriety, and once people check it out, I'm sure a lot of people that didn't check it out, like me, go there and go, holy crap, he's actually in 1080p. Like, that's crazy.
Well, and not only 1080p, it's far less compressed 1080p.
Yeah,
that is a crispy image.
video. Yep. Like, it at times looks better than even YouTube, I would say. Like, I was like, what? This is live? Like, that's really good. We all know Microsoft has the tech for it.
Microsoft has that cloud backbone. They have the infrastructure to support something like that. There's going to be so many
reasons why to use their stuff.
I think this was a really smart move because the service wasn't doing bad at all, but I think this is like them really like advertising it now and really pushing it as a brand. Because when they acquired Beam, it was cool, but it was like a little weird niche thing, and it was one of those things. It was like when Sony bought Gaikai. You're like, okay, that's cool, but like, what are you gonna do with that kind of thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
And Microsoft is making some moves.
I am happy to see it, and you'll probably see us on Mixer soon. To be quite honest, I mean, it just seems like the right move right now, and it'd be a nice place to try and get noticed and pick up there. Not
only that, it'd be a really nice place to do like a Q&A show, interact with the audience, something small, half hour. Yeah,
once things get moving more, it'd be great to have a stream go and actually have people come check us out live if they'd like, and it'd be interesting.
So, speaking of quality, one of the things that was in the news this week that was a little bit rough, we're not Minecraft players, but unfortunately they just canceled the 4K resolution update from Minecraft.
That. They were all hype about it, and then right away it was like, never mind.
I think they got to a point in the development, from what I've read, that it was working on half the stuff and then not working on other stuff, and it would have fractured the like platform. It would have like you would have had to have two different versions of the mobile app to make it work on like 4K devices, and like it wouldn't work right on Switch, obviously, because Switch doesn't do 4K, and like trying to force that update because you would still need it in the back end of the game for it to work.
And then you have one copy of a game relating with another copy of the game. And,
with Minecraft, when they did, I want to say maybe like 6 months ago, they did like the big unifying update where like you can now play across almost every platform except Sony. Together. So I think when they did that, they have a certain level of parity that they couldn't like re-break apart the base again, which I get from a standpoint. And not only that, but personally I feel people don't play Minecraft for 4K anyway.
No,
I mean it might be a letdown to a certain fragment of the user base, but didn't seem like that big of a deal.
It's a pixel-based game. Why do you need 4K?
Yeah,
it's not necessary
for people doing mods and trying to record video and stuff. You know how it is.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to have, but you don't need it, in my opinion. And that, again, like you said, we're not Minecraft players, so I could be misspoken, because I bet you if I was playing it, I'd be like, oh, 4K.
Well, I think it falls into that category of any update for a game you're playing is usually a something you want.
I mean, anytime I remember when we were around like the early ages of the PS4, you were getting a lot of like up-res, switches and stuff. You'd even get patches sometimes for games like, I think Final Fantasy 15 had a patch with the resolution update when it was early. In the early stages, it was like a weird resolution.
With them launching the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, they did that for a lot of games that came around in that like 18-month frame of like, hey, this game already came out a while ago, but here's all these 4K textures. They did that with Shadow of War, and then they went back and updated again to rip out all the loot box stuff.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
And that was a decent game, but that game in the end game was super grindy. Like I got to the end game like 80% through, and
I'm like halfway through it right now, and I really liked it.
Oh, it was
great.
But
it was like, and I liked the story and the concept of it and all that, and the gameplay feels great. But I got swept away with so many other games. I have so many third-person action-adventure games that I'm halfway through right now.
I feel you should have been able to complete the story without fully controlling the map.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that constant, like, I'm going to take over your part of the map castle with this guy and this lieutenant.
It takes you a couple hours to get all these areas, and then you got to go back to the areas you already had because they got taken back over. And it's
cool,
like, oh my God.
But to, like, do it a couple of times is enough, I feel. You know what I mean? You do it, like, 3-4 times.
That's
or like
partly why I didn't end up beating it. I did all that territory stuff and had the fun I wanted to have in the game.
And I
was like,
hard. It got
luckily,
hard.
I'm doing the whole swap. The PlayStation swap, so I didn't end up buying it. A good friend of mine, Joey, who I plan on having on the podcast soon. So you guys will be meeting him soon.
You were doing that family share thing?
No, not family sharing. I make my primary PlayStation his, and then my PlayStation is his primary for our accounts. So I'm able to just log in, download his games, and then when I log back into my account, there's no longer a lock symbol on the game that isn't mine.
Pretty much how you and I do with the Switch.
It's his console. Yeah, it's his console, so I'm allowed to hop on there and I can play his games.
Yeah.
And then he can play mine.
And it's more or less the method
we did with Odyssey.
That's more or less the method people are doing with the Switch and the Switch Lite as well, to make like Fire Emblem work in multiple spots. Like, so and so's wife wants to play on the other Switch.
We should do that with the Switch. We haven't
we
primaried it yet. No, I'm not. Your console's not my your primary.
Well, whatever. We'll talk offline about
that. Either way, but no, it's really that is something I love. If you guys don't know anything about that, you should definitely look it up and check it out. If you have a good friend of yours and you guys can share games, like
we're not telling you to do it.
We don't condone it, but
it can be done.
Yeah.
Lawyer note.
No, but yeah, me and him did that, and I hit him up when Odyssey was on sale. I was like, yo, you want to split Odyssey? Like, you want to throw up $20? It's $40 for the gold edition. Like, I'll throw up 20. I'll download it right. I'll buy it right now. He was like, yeah, dude, next time I see you, I'll chuck you 20.
Right, that's cool.
Why not? And it's so that kind of thing is great, and that's what I did with Shadow of War. Was able to play that and not feel guilty that I didn't want to keep playing it. And I still have it on the console, and I should get back to it, but like, I got Devil May Cry 5 to play, and I'm loving Odyssey, as I said, which we didn't really finish talking about too much.
Well,
and just to, as a side note, if you haven't played Odyssey, it's one next time it goes on sale, please get that. If you want to get back into the Assassin's Creed games, it's not even an Assassin's Creed game. It's something much more.
So going back to Shadow of War real quick, it kind of had me thinking about something. Is we've all got our backlogs. We all have our pile of shame. So what I'm gonna purposely
any true gamer has a pile.
Oh, absolutely.
Of shame.
So one of the things I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna purposely try and call out on an episode one thing from my pile of shame and be like, hey, I'm gonna try and cross this off my backlog.
And
I'm gonna check this off my list.
By the next podcast see if I can do progressed a little. That'd be cool.
And not only that, but it gives us a nice little throwback thing to talk about.
That's cool.
Something that a lot of people probably have played that maybe I didn't necessarily get around to. So what do you say? You down? What are you thinking about?
For my I know I can do some digging. I don't know if I can pop one out right now off the top of my head.
So I've been playing the remastered first Gears of War. I think I'm gonna run through that and cross that off my list. I have played that game, but I played it on the original 360 so many years ago, not on my profile.
Oh, so that's a reason to replay it. That is a reason.
And not only that, but since it's the remastered one, I'll pop all the achievements and stuff like that.
It might revive your love for Gears.
Well, and that's
you might want to go through them.
That's what I'm thinking.
Get to 5.
Gears is coming out in like the next month or two, and I'm feeling I might just want to run through the series real quick. The only other thing that I was thinking about is I repeat the words love of the original BioShock. I never played 2, and I never finished Infinite. So I'm thinking I might run through 2 and Infinite on that.
You need to do that because you avidly loved BioShock.
BioShock was
tried to get me to play it a few times.
Arguably one of my favorite games of all time. That game is so good.
That is something I do regret. Maybe I can Maybe I can find like a remaster of one of those because I never got fully into the BioShock series.
They did the series remaster not too long ago, so just keep an eye out for a sale. I paid $20 for the physical disc.
That's the biggest problem I have with these games nowadays is like every time I go back to something, I'm like playing it and I'm liking it, but I just have this other urge every time to go back to something like Apex or to play with my friends,
and it's
go back to this crispy brand new game.
It's that zeitgeist. You want to play the new thing that everybody's talking about and all about. Like that's one of the reasons.
That's definitely part of it. I gotta be honest. Yeah,
you love Devil May Cry, but Devil May Cry Hardcore was not a game I was interested in the slightest. But like I kind of experienced that game like through you by proxy. Like I got enough out of that game that I knew what was up. I played like maybe a half hour, an hour, just feeling it, and it felt great. It felt fine, but it just wasn't my type of game.
Yeah,
and that's what I was running into with Final Fantasy 15. That like actiony hack and slash JRPG combat. It just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't engage me in the same way. When they slow it down a little bit, like Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Odyssey's kind of version of the combat, I like it.
You feel that combat.
It's more visceral.
That was the problem with the last few Assassin's Creed games is you're like, okay, slice, assassinate, slice, assassinate. It just feels very, doing the same combo every time. There's no special abilities. And that was one of the biggest things about Odyssey is being, like you said, giving us slots for those abilities, having 4 archer abilities to set up and 4 warrior abilities to set up or assassin, and then you're set. Like it feels so different, and you can reset your attributes. You can click the button, spend 500 drachmi, and just go, okay, it's cool. I'm resetting my style.
It's that mechanically sound game where it felt really good to play.
Yeah, very much so. And that's something a lot of these games are missing, with, like you said, and that they could definitely learn from games like Assassin's Creed.
Back to the pile of shame. So should I redo Gears or should I redo Bioshock series? Okay.
Because Gears is Gears. You know what Gears is. You remember the sad story of Dom's wife in the fucking cage. You don't... Like, if you really want those achievements, I would say play it with somebody like even one of Gina's nephews or something when they get a little older, because it's like bad. Or like co-op, because that game was great for that. Find somebody.
Our buddy Murph is all about Gears, so maybe I'll hop into that. I'm already, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 levels into the first game. That's how I kind of like, I could easily run through this rabbit hole.
A lot of the achievements are co-op based too, if I remember.
And I don't need like everything. If I just burn through the story on like medium or normal or whatever, that's all I really need. I'm not trying to do like nightmare settings or anything. I'm not that stage of gamer in my life anymore. I got way too many other things to do.
I was wondering, I'm looking at our shot here off screen. I'm looking at myself and I'm wondering why my lips look so bright and red, and it's because of the light. I thought it was so fun. I'm like, why do my lips look like I got lipstick on right now?
And on that note, I think we're done.
No. But I'm gonna dig through my backlog. I'll check it out. And I'll see what's up, because I think that's a good idea. That's a really cool concept.
I think that's something that every gamer can address and completely understand. Is like, we've all have that pile of shame.
I was gonna say,
if you have anything from your piles of shame you want us to like play through,
no. Fuck, screw us. You should go back, play a game that while we're doing the same thing. We'll try to say a month. So probably 3 or 4 more episodes.
And we could do a throwback cast, like a little quick 20-minute, 30-minute thing on just that.
Every 4 episodes or so, we'll come back to this and we'll do a new one each time. So like if we completed it or if we did not, like if a month comes and passes, then we know we're not going to redo that game. It's not going to happen. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And especially if we make a commitment. And then so we pick a new one. If we finished it, awesome. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get a new one, and we're gonna roll out. So, and then we could even do a point system or something. Like I got 1 point, and then we'll do it with everybody that's watching if they want to do it. To comment on the video and go, hey, I'm going to play this, and I'm going to see you in a month, and let us know, again, in that video, if you did it or not.
And I'm going to totally do it, because I need to get to the ending of Infinite. I've heard things. I don't know everything, but I've heard things.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I stopped playing, is they're like, oh, you didn't play 2, but you went to Infinite? And I was like, oh, shit. All right. I got to go back now. Because I love the original Bioshock. I think that was...
That's funny to me that you never played the other ones.
And
I thought you did.
So I played Infinite on PC when I was a heavy PC gamer in like 2012, 2013, but I never finished it. I was, working a lot and in between some stuff, so I just never got a chance to finish it. I really enjoyed a lot of the like Skyhook, like travel kind of stuff, but... Yeah. That'll be a fun series to go back and run through. But not only that, the whole reason I bought that series anyway is I just wanted to play the new the original Bioshock in new super sharp resolution. That's all I really cared about.
Damn right. I feel you, man. I need to go back and look. Yeah. And now that you said it, I gotta pick one. Yeah. I'm gonna say it's probably gonna come down to something weird that I loved and never got to.
So is it worthwhile for you to finish Odyssey and then go back and finish Origins?
I was thinking that, but I don't really want to.
Odyssey comes before Origins in the timeline. Odyssey is the older game.
I might do that a month. Because Odyssey's going to take up Odyssey and Apex, because Apex has the solos now, which I wanted to get into that after this convo. How
far into Odyssey are you?
Not that far. I got it a couple days ago.
I'm like 65 hours in, and I'm
20, I think.
It's probably going to be a 100-hour game. I'm probably about 75% of the way.
My buddy put like 300. I looked on the Uplay thing. He put like 300 hours into it. Dude, he's 100% on the main story. He's like 90% on the side quests, and like 98% on all the lands discovered.
And
I was like, dude,
not only that, but all the DLC they did with like. God,
Atlantis.
I'm not even gonna.
Can't wait.
No,
I can't
dude,
wait.
I don't even want to. I haven't even started any of that. It's an icon on my map, and I don't.
Dude,
even
the picture screws me up every time I start the game because the picture is clearly Poseidon with a trident, and he has like these like rings coming through his body, and that's one of the armor sets. Oh my god!
Why don't we save that for another video? Because it's about time.
All right, yeah. Real quick, I wanted to say. Apex Legends, if you gave it a shot and you were a little salty that it didn't have a solo mode because you're more of a solo multiplayer, go back, give it a shot. They're doing a test run, and it's a special event. Season 2 is running great. Everything's been awesome. The game is way smoother, way more polished. The characters are way more balanced. Everything's so much better. The guns are more fun because they have all these crazy attachments.
Yeah. When I played it originally, it always felt like it needed a solo mode.
I wanted it so bad, and it makes me I'm kind of falling off slightly of playing it as much because I've been getting into other games, and because I also want to be able to talk about more games while on the podcast and on our videos.
Well, not only that, but I feel that's like a cycle with any game of a service, no matter what it is. You'll fall in and out of it for weeks at a time because I'm trying to avoid you get fatigued, you get bored with it after a while.
I'm trying to avoid games as a service in general right now. I'm trying to hit the story, hit the extra stuff that I want to hit, and then move on.
Which is harder to do because there are so many games as a service.
I'm a 100% kind of person, and that's the problem with games as a service. There is no 100%. It doesn't end.
I had to leave a lot of that 100% completionist stuff behind because
and it's
that's
hard.
how I started The Witcher, and then I got like 20 hours into it, and I never even left anywhere.
That was the bomb. Like I need that 100%. Like anything before PS2 era. Need that 100%.
Yeah.
PS3 and Xbox 360 was like, okay, this is getting a little tough to 100% these games, but I can do a few. And now it's like, god damn it,
they designed games from last gen like Destiny where like, oh, you want to put in 1,000 hours? Oh, you accidentally put 1,200 hours into the last Halo? Let's remod this version of Halo.
Yeah, it's something I compliment PlayStation exclusives on so much because they purposely made the platinum list not that ridiculous. Like, there's a few ridiculous achievements, but I have platinumed 2 out of the 3 main ones, and they're the Horizon, Spider-Man, bang, done. I'm almost done God of War platinum, and I got Final Fantasy 15's platinum. Even 15, I gotta compliment them. They didn't do some ridiculous get every single ability in the game. Like there's 1,000. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but to not go off too much off subject, please go check out Apex's new event. The solo mode's there. I'm going to be checking it out. It just started, I believe, the other day. And it's running until, I think, the end of the month or early. It's about, I think it's the first week of September it's going to be ending. But it's going to be, oh, man, I'm so happy. And the more people that get in there, they will probably bring back the mode and keep it. I think this is a test run.
They're testing the popularity.
Event. It's some kind of tournament event where you get rankings in it and you can win awards and you get crazy new custom outfits and all this cool stuff. So I'm excited about that. Definitely go check that out.
Well, not only that, it's a really good time because the Fortnite Season 10 launched and a lot of people aren't as hot on that as they were. Yeah, and a lot of people are complaining about the mech. So we'll see.
Do you have any other recommendations for anybody that you've been seeing lately that they should maybe go check out?
Not really. Not particularly.
No, nothing? Nah. I mean, Octopath, of course.
Oh, yeah.
It's not new.
Octopath.
And Odyssey.
If you're a little bit more of a slower kind of turn-based player, the latest version of Civilization is actually gone half price. It was $30.
That's the one you got, right?
Yes, I got it around the Christmas, and I really enjoy it. It's not the highest graphical quality because for people who've played Civ on PC, but on Switch, it's more or less the mobile version, but they optimized it with the controls, and it's a fun airplane game. It's a fun game that you can play multi or single player and really just take your time with.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something to just kind of chill with for a little while, and you like that building SimCity control kind of thing, the the 4X as it's called.
Right. So definitely. I'd say Assassin's Creed Odyssey for sure. If you you have to, like, the deals. There's been deals for it lately.
Even
Check
if you don't get like the complete edition or whatever, and just get the base game for $20.
There's so much content.
It's so much free content, so much stuff. I think that's
there's live events, new quests added.
That's
all the time.
arguably Ubisoft's best game in a while.
Period. Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
It is, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't get right on board with it, and it's because I bought Origins so that I could play it, finish it, then go to Odyssey, and because I wanted to play Odyssey, never got through Origins, so never bought Odyssey. It's almost a year now, I'm like, I need this.
They added a couple months ago the ability for like the community to add quests in that game.
Oh yeah, it's really interesting.
That was a brand new thing, and that's something they've done to keep that game alive. On top of the little DLC armor drops and this, that, the third add-ins. But shout out to Ubisoft.
For sure, it was the beginning of our episode was an Ubisoft love story.
Well, it's what we've been playing, so you know.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, it's great to be back. We need to get our videos out there more. I know we've been slacking a little bit lately, but we will get on the grind. We are planning a few new shows. I don't want to get into it too much, but look out for a show we're gonna be calling This Week in Geek, where we're gonna just quickly break down like a 10-minute video or something. Just break down everything that's going on so we can quickly get you guys the news when it happens. Instead
upcoming
of
shows we're interested
podcast.
in, some news, a little bit of everything.
And as we said, our podcast, we want a more chill environment. Just hang out with you guys, talk about the crap that's been going on, talk about the things we like. And then, I want to get more straightforward episodes out there. Got another new show. Conversational will be our new show where we just talk to friends, and it's not gonna be many episodes, but just different topics, just different stuff. Another kind of podcast, more freeform, off-topic type stuff, or on topic if they're an interesting enough person. But a few new shows coming up, a few new things planned. It's gonna take some time for us to get in the groove. My man's got a nice new schedule, Amazon gig. He's balling now, and I got my nice clean schedule and more time to get stuff done soon. So look forward to some cool stuff in September. And please comment, like, subscribe as always. Let us know if you have any suggestions or you got anything cool going on. And those backlog games, I want to see if you guys get the backlogs done. Seriously, because I gotta try. I know he'll probably start. Don't think he's gonna finish though. All
right, we'll see. But as always, guys, everybody keep on gaming.
And have a good one, guys.